first time you've ever been on my channel, welcome. I just gave you an OHIO from Seoul, South Korea. And usually, if this is the first time you've been on my channel, I do kind of music reactions. So if you're one of those people that usually watches my music reactions, this is football. You're not gonna like this at all unless you like football. College football. I don't give a shit about NFL. Just Ohio State. Why? Because I'm from Columbus. And as you can see, I had to buy, because I like to wear tank tops. That kind of makes me douchey sometimes, at least to some people. But I love tank tops because the less that you have on your skin, the better. And I have a plethora of these in my closet that I wear in other kind of summertime videos like this. But I had to buy my tank top OSU at the Buckeye Corner. I think I bought this like 3 years ago. So anyway, we are here today because the season is starting. It is football week, and Saturday, which for those of you who don't know Korea time is about 15 hours, anywhere from 14 to 15 hours ahead of Columbus. So what that means is I, because I'm such a devoted fan, watch every game, but every game usually starts here in Korea at either 1 a.m., 3 a.m., or 5 a.m., sometimes even 8 on Sunday morning. So this coming Sunday for me, which is going to be the morning, afternoon, or evening for you, Saturday in the United States, I will be up and I will be on the app called Voxer. If you've never heard of Voxer, Voxer is like a walkie-talkie app. It has a lot of glitches, but it's a lot better than any other app for just talking. And my brother, my two brothers, a good friend who's from Columbus and went to high school with, and even if you want to join, we get in a group chat and we just bitch and moan about things that we're frustrated about. And we also go crazy every time we score or have a great play, and it's just a great time. So what I'm here to do today is I'm just here to try to preview the game that is going to be coming. And so this week we have FAU coming into town. So let's talk about that right now. Alright, so welcome to the Oh So Unique. See what I did there? Okay, so anyway, this is a program that I am just going to do a basic review. I don't claim to have expertise on the Buckeyes. I'm more than a casual fan, but I'm not an expert fan. If you really want that kind of analysis, then you can go to 11 Warriors, or you can go to Letterman Row. But you definitely shouldn't go, even though he's on Letterman Row, you shouldn't go to Tim May, because Tim May is annoying as fuck. Does anybody agree with me? Tell me in the comments below, because every time I watch him or listen to him in the press conferences, he's got that unique country twang, whiny voice, and he fucking interrupts on Letterman Row almost every second because he's got to talk too much. Now, maybe he's got some great analysis background, of course, because he's been doing it for so long, and I think he just retired. But the Letterman Row show has now become more about Tim May than it's become about anybody else. Anyway, that's a side rant. What to do is look at the schedule, and coming up first, which is this weekend, if you notice the times on my schedule, it's because it's Korea time. So yes, I will be watching most of the games this season at 1 a.m., which is actually good for me because that means it's usually done by 4 a.m. But if the game starts at 4:30 a.m., those are rough ones. Although it's on fucking Fox, and Fox is annoying because they block everything. Even though I have a VPN that I try to use here, they basically try to block it. So I have to find some creative ways to get around it. So I hate it when it's on Fox. But anyway, Florida Atlantic's first, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then we have Cincinnati. Not too worried about Cincinnati. I think they'll give us a little bit of a game. It'll be fun to have some of those old Buckeyes come up to Columbus and play. Then we have IU. IU is definitely a team that I think we're always going to struggle with because we had them first game last season and we struggled with them. But that's also because our defense was absolute shite last year. And I think IU always gives us problems because they're one of the first Big Ten teams to go to the spread offense, and spread offenses are always harder, at least, to cover and more options, which is why I think we also have problems with Purdue. And then after that, we have Miami of Ohio. That's basically just to give Miami of Ohio some money. And then we have a little X next to Nebraska because Nebraska is someone that I think is going to be difficult for us. And so the X stands for games that if we're going to drop a game, that's more likely a game that we're going to drop. So Nebraska has Martinez back. He's got a year under his belt. They're supposed to be more powerful on offense. And depending on how our defense is caught up, if they've gotten better, this could be a very challenging game, especially when we're at Nebraska. And then next we have Michigan State, which I'm always going to have an X next to, even on years that they seemingly are not going to be good, like this year, because their defense is always just really good. And us losing some offensive weapons, having a new quarterback, and also maybe being more run-heavy with JK. They're usually good against the run, could give us fits. Then we have Northwestern. I'm not worried about Northwestern. I know a lot of people always are. Like when we played them last year in the Big Ten title game, I wasn't worried. And then we have Wisconsin. I'm also not worried about Wisconsin. I just don't think they have lately with their new coach. Is it Paul Christ? I think that's his name. I just don't think that they're winners with him. They don't have that, even though I hated hog-ass Brett Bielema. He always did have some good teams that he would bring to us and that we'd have to fight when we went there. But I'm just not that worried, even though people always think Wisconsin's good. Then we play Maryland. Maryland can be tough, although I think they just transferred a quarterback, so I don't think that they're going to be all that scary, although they fucking took us to 52-51 last year, I think. And then Rutgers. Sadly, Rutgers always sucks. Easy game. They're probably as easy as Miami of Ohio. And I actually wish, I like Chris Ash. I've been wanting him to come back on the defensive side of the ball because our defense with him as the defensive coordinator, we were freaking stout. So I wish he'd come back, but, he's doing his head coaching thing there. And then, of course, the last two games, Penn State is going to be tough. They're always tough, although I actually think they're going to be less tough this year than we had to worry about the last couple of years. Trace McSorley's gone, which I saw that Trace McSorley had a good preseason game for his NFL team, which I don't know which NFL team he's on because I don't give a shit. And then, of course, we got shit again at the shit house. And honestly, would say I'm not that worried about them. But number one, we're at their house. And number two, they've got to beat us at some point, right? I mean, fucking Shittigan's got to do something sometime. I mean, if Hard Dick goes 5, 6, 7 against us, that dude has got to be fired. So he's got to win one, and if there's a season for him to win, it's got to be the season in the shithouse. It's just got to be the season. So I'm not worried about him, but I'm thinking, damn, even though I'm not worried about him, I think we should, actually beat them. I don't know, It's got to be their season at some point where they beat us. And usually I feel like Ohio State, when we're the underdog, we're actually better. So when we're even or we're supposed to win the game, I always worry about us because we end up blowing goats. So anyway, that's the schedule. Let's move on to the next part. So as you can see with the schedule, I think worst case scenario is we go 8-4. That's a scary thought. If we go 8-4, that's going to be a bad season, especially when we're used to 10-2 at the least. I think we won't go 8-4, but if all goes wrong, that's a possibility this year. And I think with our offense, that's really going to be the key. I definitely think our defense is going to go up. They probably can't get worse than what they were last year. And the offense, I think, is the main question because even though Justin Fields is supposed to be good, I think Buckeye Nation needs to pump the brakes. And I know people have been saying this, but I really think it's going to be, oh, yeah, we got to pump the brakes. But then when the game comes and he starts doing not as well as Dwayne did and as good as our offense was last year, people are going to start getting angry, including me. So I think even though I prepare myself mentally, we got to pump the brakes on this because There's a lot of rumors, and even though there was the everybody knew he was going to become the starting quarterback, why are they waiting to name him the starting quarterback? I think part of it was because in spring, of course, he was just brand new, so he didn't know how to run the offense, at least our style. And then the word and the rumor has it that in camp here in August, he's turning the ball over a lot. And that's through interceptions and maybe through fumbles. They've also, in the rumor mill, Letterman Row have been talking about Demario McCall. The reason he wasn't named as the second running back is because he's coughing up the ball, which we saw last year. He literally is the one that coughed up the ball and gave it to him off the punt to Michigan right before the fucking half so they could score. So if it goes that way and we're just like turning the ball over a lot, then it could be some long games, even if the defense has gotten better. So I think we all just need to pump the brakes. So if we lose 4 games, that's going to be, I would say, a failure season. If we lose 3 games, a 9-3 season is not bad, but it's definitely not good. We won't be in the Big Ten championship. And regardless of all of that, even if we went 9-3 but we beat Michigan, I'd be happy. But of course, we're all expecting to go 10-2, 11-1. So we'll see what happens. And as you can see with this graphic, it looks like with FAU, we don't have much to worry about, although we don't want to pull an Appalachian State. Sucky Michigan. So with 93.9% chance of winning, I don't think that we have too much to worry about, especially because their defense gave up so many yards, like an average of 431, I think, over the season, and that defense is coming back. So this is a great warm-up game, should be a great warm-up game. Hopefully we don't have any turnovers by Mr. Fields. But the great thing in the news, you can check at 11 Warriors. I check 11 Warriors a lot, but it looks like we're going to be having a DJ every game at home. So it should turn up the party just a little bit, and hopefully that gets the juices flowing, people going crazy in the stands, and that helps our boys to move on to victory. So what I want to do next is tell you what I think the final score is going to be, and this is my prediction. Alright, so the great thing about my room is that the background is naturally gray to go with the scarlet and gray. So I can just kind of put titles up in here and up in here, say kind of anything that I want to say. So with that said, I think my score prediction for this game is going to be 42 Ohio State, 10 FAU. First, I think they're going to score 10 points because I think our defense is not going to be completely different. I think they'll be good, much better than they were last year, but I still think that they're going to allow some points. They're going to have some messed up assignments and stuff like that. The offense, I think the reason we're still going to score 42 points is, number one, this defense is not really good. Number two, I think that our offense is just too high-powered and smart for this defense. And number three, I think we are just too fast for this defense. And so ultimately, that skill and that plan and that kind of market is just going to make us be able to score at least 6 touchdowns. So I'm going to say 42-10 is going to be the final score. And I am going on record saying this, so what I like about this is I'm going to look back at the end of the season and see how close I was to these fucking predictions. And by the way, my track record with predictions is terrible, so I'm not expecting to be very good. I am just terrible at predicting things with Ohio State football for some reason. So I'm kind of like Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. Whenever he picks LeBron to win, he loses. So I feel like I should always pick Ohio State to lose so that they win. That's just my take. Okay, that was my short analysis of the first game of the 2019 season. And I'm going to try to do this every week if I have the time. And after the game, I'm going to try to give a quick review. It won't be nearly as long as this. And I would love to hear your comments below. I would love us to build a brotherhood here on this channel and check out some of my other stuff. So please like and subscribe and try to look for updates every week before the game and then after the game so we can discuss and cheer on our Buckeyes together. Go Bucks!